contending. Playoffs are lining up very nice. We're going to get straight into it. Avant versus Immunity. Avant, they've looked so strong recently.
Yeah, they certainly have, and this is Avant's game to win. You have to say it. Immunity started to sort of fall off a little bit, and if Immunity can win Avant can win this, they're going to end Immunity's playoff dream and also secure themselves that last playoff spot.
You can see Sin, who've had really hard time with their last two games. Avant have got a much, given the ladder, an easier time as far as the end of their road here goes to playoffs. So they will secure the spot with a win here. They'd love to take a couple and try and shake things up, but Avant, they need to win right now and just secure that spot. Stop thinking about it.
Yeah, get it over and done with. Move on. Concentrate on the Chiefs in the semi-final matchups because that's most likely who they're going to be facing. And Avant, they're this team. We talk about the top side of the map. They are so strong. Kensty, Shelby, Porky, all up there. They've played together forever, and they're all peaking at the right moment right now because it's the end of the season.
I mean, they might as well. They were defending champions for this tournament technically last year, winning it around the same time at PAX in Melbourne. So you have to think they want to defend that finals trophy and see if they can get it done. But they do need to start right here with a win.
Yeah, and talking about good moments, go watch that again because I didn't cast that game, but Shelby played the best 5 minutes of Lee Sin ever.
Yeah, I mean, Shelby's a great aggressive player. Good to see him back on form. For me, Shelby's really been the player that sort of stepped back up for Avant. They are playing well as a team. It's nice to see Warble moving in there with Destiny. That new bottom lane, very consistent, very utility focused, has a lot of good stuff going for them. But Shelby's been the shining light and really the person that's leading the charge for Avant.
100%. He's their playmaker. He gets in there and is able to get things like Gragas ultimates to really start up a fight. He flies in there with Rek'Sai. He just loves to fight top laners on that champion for some reason. I was watching last week and he for 3 minutes in a row just kept trying to fight the top laner. And Avant overall are just a team that's unpredictable to play against because of what you mentioned. The fact that their utility isn't their jungle support, it's their AD carry support. They play a lot of Sivir. When they don't get Sivir, they play Ashe. They look for picks. They play Morgana in the bottom lane or Alistar for the roaming ability that can come out of Destiny. And when you have a team that does not play League of Legends like other players, unless you play against them consistently, it's just not the same because you're not able to get a read on where their strengths are. And a lot of their gold is on their top laner and jungle.
It is. And you have to think that Avant, I'm not going to say hiding strategies necessarily, but Warble is a strong player. He could certainly go full hyper carry if he was required of him, if that's something Avant want to try. Like Kensty's champion pool, ranges back from every season of competitive league, it feels like. We've seen him play Cho'Gath, Twisted Fate. He's even played standard champions as well. I think Victor, I believe, as well. There's just everything going on for this team. They've suffered some hard losses, I think, for them relatively recently. But other than that, Avant have looked on top of the world.
Yeah, and one thing you do have to point out is how they played against the Chiefs. It looked like they were the first team that really gave them a run. You know, there was some hiccups. Porky getting soloed in the top lane by Swiper. He definitely wasn't happy about it. But, you know, you look back on how they played, and this feels like the season they were able to put to in finals last year when they made that miracle run. They had their bottom lane nice and gelled together. Now they've got something similar there in Destiny and Warble. Maybe not the carry players that Nada and Veritas were, but still fit the team very well. And Kensty has just stepped up. He continues to improve. He shrugged off what the Chiefs were able to do to him last year and just burst back into the scene and become that consistent, I guess, weirdly aggressive in the late game and weirdly passive early game mid laner.
Again, going with the theme of Avant being a kind of a tricky team to typify, I think it's Shelby, the one player we can really nail down and say, this guy's just a playmaker. But even him, who was aggression only for the longest time, he's also rounded up his play. Avant in general have just risen as a team.
Yeah, they certainly have. Shelby went from a linebacker that just wanted to rush the carries to a playmaker. He used to be all up in your face, but, you know, now he's been able to add another element to his game, a little bit of patience.
Bit more quarterback in there for Shelby as we are going to get into the draft. Immunity taking on Avant for our final game of the evening is Twisted Fate. Going to eat a ban there for Kensty. Alistar will join him, but as is the first ban for Avant Garde.
Yeah, and noticeable to note, wow.
Nice.
Yep, good.
Nailed it.
Moya is in the mid lane is what I was going to say for Immunity. Mizfish back in the jungle. Other's not around anymore, so have to see how they make this work out. Moya, of course, used to play for Fortnite. Fantastic Nidalee player, fantastic Orianna player if you want to cast your mind back. Also plays a little bit of Varus.
Yeah, was on that team responsible for the Chiefs' only defeat in the last season. We'll have to see if they can lose today on Thursday coming up this week. Varus actually the ban away. That's another champion I believe Moya's sort of been training up as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. He plays poke champions and some control mages, so that's where the Azir is from. That's where the Varus is from. Nidalee is his main pick, though. And always has been.
Ezreal, another ban there. That's funny. I like it. We talk about Runeglaive for a segment, and all of a sudden there's 3 Ezreal bans in a row. You can understand why. It's just so powerful.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's the 100% magic damage thing that it does to your auto attack. It just means that Void Staff is such a bang for buck purchase late game.
Yeah, and Luden's is strong. There's just a lot of good stuff going on there with the Ezreal. So Ryze going to be the final ban there for Avant Garde, which means Immunity going to get their choice of first pick. Which jungle do you want Immunity? That's where I think they have to go with their first pick.
Yeah, potentially they'll go towards that. They might try and secure Ryu something like Rumble, whether he's had a lot of good games. Also had a great game on Fizz in recent memory, so maybe they'll try and put him on a little bit more of a carry with Moya in the mid lane filling in. We already mentioned the Orianna pick coming through, so they do have some options available, or they can just take away something in the bot lane, like maybe Nautilus.
Yeah, a bit more time, though, to consider. 30 seconds or so for Immunity to make their first choice. And we didn't get a chance to talk about them much, Spawn, but it's been rough for Immunity recently.
Yeah, it certainly has. You know, T-Gun's been about the fact that they're trying to figure it out. They very much are a team. Losing Soul Strikes over to Korea for a couple of weeks did really hurt them. You felt that with Soul Strikes on the team, this was a very young, fresh-looking team that could make it work. But, you know, they had another hiccup. Now with Cheese in America off the lineup, it's going to be a little even more tough to try and carry this through.
Yeah, and this is not what I really expected. But first pick Kalista actually coming through. It's a strong first pick, but I didn't think Zeke would play it.
Zeke does play it. He plays Kalista Jinx a lot, so they're kind of his two main pickups. He was really looking forward to actually playing against the Chiefs, and he got that opportunity. And, you know, he is a good young player. I think he's 17 years old, like somewhere around there. He's very, very young coming into the scene, so he's getting more experience, listening to T-Gun shot calling. T-Gun really does drive that lane, and we'll have to see how on the Kalista he's able to pull it through.
And of course, the thing we love to talk about with Kalista, which support does it get paired with here? Because I like that Avant are really thinking about stealing away the Morgana, but we said it before we saw the Chiefs play it there with EGM. Kalista also enables a support player, and T-Gun's one hell of a player to enable.
Yeah, it certainly is, but you have to get the Morgana away from him.
Yep.
He plays it so well, you know. All the bans at the moment for Morgana, I nearly automatically attribute over to T-Gun in the bottom lane, but Destiny also plays it very well, especially if they get something like a Civil with it.
Yeah, I like the pick away here. Rek'Sai, Morgana are actually their first two picks, so Avant Garde, you know, smart stuff here with the first two picks. Like you said, just do not give T-Gun that support Morgana.
Yeah, 100%. You know, Chelby, he's actually gone with the Rek'Sai this time around. Doesn't want to grab the Gragas. A little bit more of a AD, has a global ultimate, not very pick orientated, but very much on the vision control and map control that Rek'Sai can bring late game. I like the pickup there, and also opens Kensty's Yasuo.
Yeah, and that's something we haven't seen at all, I don't think, this split, but something he was made very famous for last year.
Yeah, it certainly was. Maybe infamous in a couple of games as well. But we'll have to see if he's able to make...
Well, Immunity now, 15 seconds left to make their next few picks, so we'll see what they do want to take away for themselves. Again, things definitely being shaken up. Moya joining the lineup, a strong player, but has not played that much in the OPL at all this particular season, although got plenty of work in split number one. Considering Gragas for Misfitch will be a perfect first pickup for me, and looks like they might mix it up real crazy. Ken and Gragas are the next two picks.
Yeah, so that might be a Cannon support coming through here, and Cannon saw a lot of players as support and then kind of fell off the face of the map, and I never really understood why. Maybe it was the introduction of Gragas into the meta that hurt his engage potential, but always has been fantastic with Kalista for two reasons. You can pick him up and, like, Pikachu, I choose you. Throw Pokeball inside and Cannon goes nuts.
Yep.
But you can also ult on top of your Kalista, and it means that no one can get on top of her. Very good kite ultimate coming through there, and just allows it to, I guess, hop away and throw spears at people.
I like that you mentioned the Morgana from T-Gun as a big disengage support, because Cannon, surprisingly, is actually a very strong disengage support as well, if that's where they want to play him.
Yeah, 100%. He holds up choke points really well. You can reposition him. Also, T-Gun, one of the support players that's known for rushing Azonya's Hourglass after he gets his boots too, so we'll see whether that is something he continues on what can be an aggressive support as well.
Morgana and other Morgana then, with the Cannon potentially as Avant Garde, almost done with their next two picks here. Saw a gangplank very briefly from Kenzie, but not going to see it at least for now. But it's going to give Vladimir Sivir instead.
Yeah, so Kenzie, the Vladimir player on, you can already see that he swapped up his summoner spells in there. He likes to be able to scale, turn into that hyper carry, and it unlocks Warble. The Hemo Plague down with all the AoE damage that comes through from Sivir just means that she's a fantastic late game carry with all the crit that comes across from the build. Look for Warble to be very relevant late game. This isn't going to be a Sivir that drops off at all.
No, and even the Morgana combo, to be honest, I think this is Avant that showed us this exact same set of champions now as well. Like, Morgana's good in general as support, but you get a Hemo Plague down and that ulti ticking away, and it does surprising amount of damage.
Yeah, it certainly does. So a facilitator role coming through in that mid lane, and we'll see what they want to go to shut it down. Does Moya have something that he can pull out to really punish Vlad's weak early 1 to 4?
Or is he just playing Cannon? I guess we'll have to find out later, but with the Xerath being hovered, probably not. Again, Moya, very much of a poke-style player, so it would make sense to see something like Xerath here, although Cheese being absent makes me sad, because his Xerath is great fun to watch as well.
He plays melee Xerath.
He does.
Like, he's up in your face.
Riven
hitting
Xerath.
those. Yeah.
Xerath and Shen are actually going to be the lock-ins as well.
Yeah, so he does go for more of a poke-heavy champion. You know, 4 damage spells coming out of Xerath means a surprising burst as well if you walk into the CC. And Shen in the bottom lane, we've talked about him a lot, facilitates everything. Able to split push himself, also help split pushes around the map, able to save Zenk if he does get caught out. And wow, they might have even flexed us here with a Shen support.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Tigon's got it right now. Not looking to move just yet. I guess we'll have to see. Tigon wants to change that up here. It's a cool flex, honestly, especially with Maokai being the last pick for Avant.
Yeah, and you can generally run whatever you want into Maokai, you know. He's able... No, they've swapped it back, so it is Shen top.
Oh, sad times.
So I'm going to stop my sentence.
Oh, well, there you go. Shen top, Cannon support. I mean, Cannon support's still cool. Works, as you said, very well with Kalista.
Yeah, it certainly does. It wouldn't be the first time that we saw a flex pick come through from Shen this week. We saw Shen Nautilus and a couple of other drafts. So, you know, I like what they've put together. Being able to ult in on top of T-Gun as he initiates a fight as well means that you have a free taunt coming through from Ryu. And he's been the difference in immunity this split. If you're able to get Ryu going, he's shown that he can turn early ganks into a very big deficit winning margin for his team.
Yeah, and it's Miss Fish that does have to get going here and gank that lane. We saw a lot from Otherness and Soul Strikes actually when they were on the lineup. Just ganking the crap out of top lane.
Yeah, it was funny. Otherness came in and did his best Soul Strikes impression, like just top, bottom, top, mid, like over and over again, looking to get the 2 lanes rolling because a lot of pressure is on the top side of the map for both these teams.
It is, and you can see the team comps lined up now. Curious stuff from both. A similar look here for Avant, but something a little special here for IM, honestly, who do really have to rattle off some wins late in the last week here. But get on Twitter and let us know who you think's got the better deal of the draft here with the hashtag IMWin for immunity or AV win for Avant.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they are able to come through Avant. Remember, this locks them into playoffs. This gets them the safety they're looking for and ensures the first round matchup against the Chiefs. Immunity, on the other hand, they want that 5th spot. No one wants to have to battle for their lives through relegation, and a win right now will get them one step closer to that.
And I feel like Avant have put together a very similar looking comp that we've seen them have a lot of success on. It's, you know, basically Siva just speeding in a bunch of really good front, like, divers, honestly. Vladimir, when he gets going, actually dives quite well.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, with Distortion Boots and Siva Ultimate, he's going to be flying in their top speed. There's no way you're going to be able to keep Kensti out. It's funny because people like Rylai's is the 7th item. Like, you can't get it into your build because it's not that great, but it's the item you always want when people outrun you on Vlad. No hope of anyone getting away from Vlad this game.
The Ghost Vlad's like pretty scary just in and of itself, but Ghost Siva Vlad, again, augmenting a lot of that latent damage, I guess, from the Maokai, from the Morgana, and just the general AoE from the Siva. It's like a deceptively low damage looking comp from Avant, but it does actually quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you know, we talk about poke champions and how they're good at whittling people out of lanes. Kensti, once he's able to pick up the Abyssal and the gun,
Hextech Revolver?
Hextech Revolver.
Gun.
He's going to be able to keep himself surprisingly healthy in that lane. Will be difficult to poke him out from about level 7s onwards, so Moya has to put in a lot of work early game.
Oh yeah, look for those boots 4 potions start there. He just wants to dodge all of the poke.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe even Merc Treads coming out. I'm looking at the magic damage and the CC on the side of Avant and thinking... on immunity, and I'm thinking Kensti can afford to go Woda, Abyssal, Merc Treads, stay incredibly healthy through the mid game, continue to scale up, and then be this pseudo-tanky Vlad Terra late.
Yeah, and what about the other side here? We've got, again, a different sort of comp here coming through from immunity. Cannon support, good disengage. Gragas sort of the same flavor as well. Split push potential there in Shen. A poke mid laner and a pretty good late game AD carry. That's a weird mix.
Yeah, it certainly is. But what they're looking for is Moya to be able to chunk people out around objectives and Zenk to get going. He needs to throw so many spears into people. They need to keep him safe with the peel out of Mizfish, the peel out of T-Gun, then the ultimate out of Ryu. And if they can get this Kalista rolling, it's going to be difficult for anyone to get on top of her and deal with her late game. So Zenk, a lot of pressure on the new player coming through from immunity, but he's shown that he's had some good games so far. Hopefully he can step up.
I've been impressed, and I think, as it almost always comes down to, let's look at the junglers. Shelby's had so many good games so far. Both Misfish and Shelby are going to have a lot of early pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, they certainly are. Gragas versus Rek'Sai. Shelby elected to get the Rek'Sai matchup. We need to see him get in the lanes early and try and affect them.
Well, let's see what happens. We're going to almost get themselves onto the riff with Atlas and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Pace for Time. We are, in fact, almost onto the Rift here. I'm very excited to see whether Avant can secure that 4th place or whether Immunity can continue throwing some spanners into said works.
Yeah, definitely. Immunity, the ones who need the victory the most right now. Of course, Avant definitely want to secure that spot, but they're in the driver's seat, essentially. They just need that extra to make sure that they cement their position. So we'll see what Immunity can do coming into this. I do like their draft, though.
Yeah, I like what Immunity are trying to do. Of course, we saw Kennen sort of eke into that support role, but it was a little while ago. Did fall out of fashion just a little bit, but now see whether it's sort of making a resurgence in the hands of T-Gun. And if there's anyone else, as far as our support players are concerned, that are going to do it, it's going to be T-Gun. This guy is pretty powerful in that role.
Yeah, definitely. And the important part is, of course, whenever you saw a Kalista, you always saw it with the Kennen before, when Kennen was popular. So now Kennen having a small resurgence we're seeing in this game. Going to be with the Kalista again, a very potent duo. And as mentioned, can engage, can disengage, can just do so much for the team and really provide them the team fight that they're looking for.
Yeah, I like the potential late game power of this Kennen as well, especially once you hit some higher levels. But we are onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Immunity taking on Avant as Kensti launches himself down the mid lane. And we'll see, of course. Looks like a defensive start at the beginning here for Immunity. Kensti gets a pretty deep ward, much deeper than Moya's already.
Action.
Yeah, already a win there for AV.
Damage and stuff, because they just usually recall after putting a ward anyway. It's just so anticlimactic. Like, you know, level 1, everyone trades, but when you're in both teams are in a 5-point start, it's literally just hitting each other to say hello.
Yeah, and you're always going to wander up that mid lane, always going to just put down a ward and then walk away. Well, Zank is going to bind himself to T-Gun. See that, you know, the duo lane bond.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Definitely emphasized by that particular item, as T-Gun's going to get killed by it. So he's going to be okay.
Super prolific with auto attacks in laning phase. Of course, one of his spells even working around having an auto attack off. Works super well with the Kalista passive that has that extra damage that can be scaled together.
Yeah, it's a very good point, considering the fact that that W is often taken pretty early on as well, means that they might have some extra help getting these Krugs done. See how they're going to divvy out that experience as well, whether they want to give Zank an extra level as they enter lane or whether they're going to share it together, make sure that they hit that level 2 at the same time.
Yeah, we'll see how they actually want to go about that, of course. Actually just waiting around is a bit of a patience game for the Krugs, and Spawn is a W start.
Yeah, we're going to be utilizing that extra % health damage in order to get that one working. Shelby starting over at his red buff. It's going to mean that Porky takes down a Raptor camp as well. Kensti making things difficult for Moya here in the mid lane already.
Yeah, he's got the pod advantage in mid lane as well, so you can kind of even out trades, and then you take into account the sustain that a Vladimir has. A very interesting lane in terms of how comfortable a Vladimir's early levels can become.
Destiny being very frustrating here. Tries to take down Destiny. Yeah, actually Porky making his way here around here as well. Level 1 is the Morgana. Forces the flash
He almost
already.
went over.
Getting frightening. Yeah, was he actually trying to get Porky over the edge?
I think he was about a millisecond off getting Porky over the edge with him. So it was very close. We were talking about the pressure Kensti can put in. It's actually Moya in control.
Yeah, turned that one around most definitely. Kensti has to dodge out of the way of a few of these spells. But that transfusion going to help him out as far as staying healthy in this lane. Looking to try and get towards that gun. Or the revolver.
Yeah, that green gun thing that gives health.
Green gun.
Yeah, that one.
Hextech Gunblade, I believe, is going to be the first item. I say mostly wishing. I believe it will be that Will of the Ancients here
All
first against him.
Now you can see a lot of early pressure though from Avant. And they took away the blue buff. They're now back into their own jungle. Maokai going to go down to that bottom lane. He's got his assist from Destiny, but only level 1. It's going to be a 2v4.
Yeah, Immunity with 4-man strong here. See whether Porky is going to be enough to try and deter this one. Destiny only level 1 still. Dark Binding finds Miss Fish, and Immunity are going to go into full push mode as they try and take down this turret. A lot of ranged auto attackers here as well, so they are relatively safe while they're doing that.
Yeah, the full push strategy.
Yeah, that was the last minion here. It did get nailed by that Dark Binding from Destiny.
Yeah, so the hard push strategy from Immunity, but now 3 members available from Avant. They've got the answer there. They're not going to be able to continue to just hard push that one down. Too many members enough wave clear essentially to stop that. Destiny being level 2 also having the black chip.
Yeah, teleport going to be used by Ryu to get him into the top lane as well. So AV able to stave off the early push from Immunity. There's going to be the swap back now as well, as Warble does have about an 8 CS advantage, spending some time on his own there on the top side of the map. And Zenk and T-Gun, slight level disadvantage, but they'll probably have level 4 by the time Warble gets to lane. Oh, actually heading back to the top side.
Yeah, he's looking for a 1v1 at the moment, getting some experience in favor of Warble. Not really wanting it too much, I suppose, or not wanting the 1v1 with the Maokai and the Shen, which is interesting. Maybe it's the bot lane that is a little bit too scary for them. Ken and Kalista, of course, having a lot of impact, but that's not like a Maokai and a Morgana are going to be all that comfortable unless more of those bindings just continue.
Yeah, exactly. Destiny landing a nice binding there. Misfish looking to try and take down Kenzie, who's got the pull. Going to use it to dodge away from the stun there from Moya, but Immunity creating some space here in the mid lane. Yeah,
it's not going to be very easy to kill the Vladimir with Ghost, and now still having Flash available. And while we're speaking of not easy, it's not actually easy for a Sivir to be in a lane, even with a spell shield against Ryu. The pressure he can put down, he's just unbelievably tanky, even with no items.
Yeah, he's very, very strong. Of course, that Door and Shield doing some work there at the same time, but they don't necessarily have kill pressure against this Sivir, and definitely won't be able to stop her from farming this one out, so might just be a bit of a neutralized situation.
Yeah, and in saying that, it's really cool because Sivir has the Avarice Blade, so looking to get some extra money whilst being allowed to repeatedly last hit minions almost uncontested.
Yeah, so Immunity continuing to try and just farm it up here on the bottom side of the map. And is this working out for Immunity as far as this weird swap that's going on, or is this working out more in favor of Avant?
It's working out for Immunity, definitely. Their team comp is based a lot around skirmishes, trying to get some early pressure down. Shen, comfortable in the top lane. Once he hits level 6, they'll probably swap back so that Maokai's there to stop the ultimates. But before that happens, they're just going to butt heads here.
Yep, sure, we're going to find Misfish just a little bit. There is the zoning barrel, as Shelby just takes down the Rip Sculler. Isn't worried about that one at all. And Raptor Sense going to give him that ward that just went down from Misfish as well. So Ryu wishes he had been able to get that cannon creep, and if he didn't, that we weren't watching, but neither of those things to come through.
No, having a very bad time when it comes to cannons right now.
Oh, Destiny having a better time when it comes to Dark Bindings, though. Nice stun from T-Gun. He gets some damage back.
Having a field day, but yes, to touch on the point I was making before that anti-action started to occur that required your talking. The fact that Immunity have a very skirmish-heavy side. They've got the Gragas, they've got the Shen, and then they've got the capabilities of even just the bot lane explicitly having that 2v2 strength. They can work around this early game lull just to get some strength, get some items behind them to completely buff themselves and have a very good skirmish stage where you're not having full team fights, but there's still mini team fights where it's not directly fights.
Yeah, and you can also then leave Moya towards that mid lane as well. Got a lot of extra range with that that ultimate, so things are going to be looking a little bit better moving forward for Immunity. I do like your rendition. I'm sorry for having to do the talking in the middle.
Most importantly, Vladimir having that green gun. That's going to really help him out in laning phase. A lot of sustain now for the Vlad. You can see Moya having a difficult time, even at a level 6 Vladimir. He does have the ultimate, but it's level 7 and 9 where he starts to ramp up, getting those Q cooldowns.
Yeah, the extra points into that Q, very, very important. Misfish making a bit of a rotation down towards this bottom side. They are going to take down the outer turret. There's Moya just heading down to get some vision on this Dragon as he shoved up that mid lane. Down by about 10 CS now, though, and after Kenzie was struggling a little bit in the early game, he's able to move away from a lot of these skill shots, and even if he doesn't, just use that transfusion, get himself back up to full health pretty quickly.
Yeah, very comfortable right now. Immunity trying to make things happen desperately, though. Sivir in the top lane, not going to be able to use her teleporter ultimate, whereas the Shen always going to have that one available. In saying that, do you want to leave that lane ever when there is a Sivir threatening to take down your turret?
Yeah, that's a very good point. But Immunity, they are going to be able to take down this Dragon. Zeng tried to take it with the Ren, but not even going to be able to do that, as the Smite did secure it there for Misfit. So Ryu didn't have to head out of that lane. And it is going to be Warble heading back to base now as well. So we'll see what he does decide to pick up. Looks like it will be nothing just yet. Kenzie is going to continue pushing out this wave. BF Sword was the option there for Warble.
Yes, much better than nothing. He does find himself with some raw damage. Now, up against the Kalista in this bot lane 2v2 doesn't necessarily make it any easier because the raw damage output of a cannon and the Kalista is unbelievably high. Just working around that Kalista passive, of course, very hard to trade. In saying that, Immunity have swapped back themselves, and they're now looking to find some fights, as we're actually seeing a whole lot of swapping from Avant.
Yeah, swippy swap.
Like, that's a lot of swapping.
Yeah, everyone just leaving everywhere.
As in Vlad top.
Yeah, Vlad's going on. Interesting one. Warble not going to get hit by Moya there, as Moya denying some mana from the Sivir, who has doesn't necessarily work out all that well, but able to clear out these waves very easily. Morellonomicon almost completed by Moya here, already with a 20% extra cooldown reduction, as Kensti does have to be careful here, even under the turret against this Immunity bottom.
Yeah, needing to respect the damage they can put out, but in saying that, Shelby just waiting around in the wings to ensure his partner's safety, as he's going to be able to farm quite well under the turret. But because he only has utility-based summoners, movement augmenting summoners, the damage that can come out of the Kalista and the cannon is high enough that he needs to respect it individually.
Yeah, this lane swap does seem to have worked out well here for Immunity. The fact that they've got a whole lot of extra farm onto this Shen, the fact that Kalista not too far behind, not going too badly here.
No, not going too bad, and they're starting to get closer to hitting that stride in their relative strength. You can see Porky has finally broken that freeze in the bottom lane. It started to push towards the Shen. Once he resets this wave, or it could just be now.
Yeah, T-Gun actually going super aggressive. Warble not going to have enough shields in order to deal with that slicing Maelstrom. T-Gun, though, finds himself in amongst everything here. Stand United on top of T-Gun is going to mean that Shen finds his way in, using that Fate Skull there from Zenk, who got exhausted up. First blood going to go down to Porky here, as Right of the Arcade not going to quite find a kill just yet. T-Gun looking for Shelby now. Everyone on Immunity getting cut down by Warble, though, as Kensti finds a Hemo Plague. This looks like oh my goodness, the flash from Destiny nets a kill. Immunity all so incredibly low, but in the end, it's a 2 for nothing.
And Avant just have such a strong level 6 comp. Of course, level 9 Vladimir can use his ultimate, augment the rest of the team, but the fact that Zenk died immediately in that fight was such a bad situation for Immunity. Kennen, the one engaging, the one taking all of this damage at the start of the fight, puts him quite low, forces the Shen ultimate onto him, and then they just turn it around onto Zenk. They make his life miserable as he has to use the Fate's Call to save Kennen's life. Shen using the taunt on exclusively Porky there as well. He just goes down so quickly. Warble almost dying, but the Xerath not having a big enough impact as Kensti running in the wings, making his way up the river. And here it goes. The Hemo Plague is down. Ryu looking bad, but has the taunt, and then the flash binding from Destiny.
Yeah, the flash binding of Destiny. Definitely looking good here as Moya's just going to continue clearing out this wave. And as the dust settles, 2,000 gold now in the lead is Avant. Looking to try and get to that 4th position, secure their playoff dreams. Although they will have to go up against the Chiefs. Definitely worth it getting that opportunity. Avant looking like one of the teams that have given the Chiefs the biggest run for their money during this split.
If all teams can, if any team can do it, it's going to be this Avant lineup, but they need to get through this game, and only 12 minutes in, the gold lead is still 2,000, not necessarily in a driving seat to finish the game off. They still need to translate this advantage into further advantages.
Yeah, and they have to deal with the fact that, you know, Kalista are a fantastic champion in the late game as well. Both of these sides looking to try and take control and get themselves to a decent position. Moya will be able to clear out any minion waves you like and allow for a potential Shen split push as well. We'll see how Immunity decide to play this one out as we move forward. But at the moment, looks like they're pretty content getting some more farm onto Zenk and putting some pressure on some turrets.
Yeah, the teleport advantage in favor of Immunity. They are able to split push right now, but Avant are just content with putting the Vladimir into the solo lane.
Yeah.
Porky again into his own solo lane. He can take the brunt of the damage, and then they're just going to put the Sivir and the Morgana mid. They've got the wave clear to deal with any pushes that they make, and they can just quickly rotate. They've got the Sivir there to do so. Morgana very good for disengaging, and there's just no answer right now. Immunity are trying to make things happen, but unless Moya can do that many times, it's not going to be easy to find a direct advantage.
Zenk is going to get stunned up there, or slowed down by the sapling, so unable to get some extra damage onto Porky, who's just chilling out under his turret, using that passive in order to keep himself more healthy. And that Catalyst also helping out this fish now. Spotted by a ward there as he gets his own down. Shelby waiting in the wings as well. Can see everyone with that tremor sense. We'll see whether Moya's going to get discovered. Not going to. Yeah, Ryu. Shadow dash to safety there from Kensty is held onto the Hemo play, but you can see there's a stray Morgana. He's getting a whole bunch of vision down here in this jungle. And AV, they've made the decisive move, picking up a whole lot of damage onto this mid-outer turret. It is going to fall down. As Destiny finds his way through as well. Was looking for a cheeky bind. Not going to find Moya this time.
It's almost like everything that Immunity do is telegraphed right now from Avant. They have the answer ready to go. The Vladimir has no way of dealing, the Shen has no way of dealing with Vladimir right now. He is just doing an abundance of damage, outscales in a direct 1v1 by a substantial amount. You have a look at the rest of the side of Immunity. Mistfish made his way top lane. Yeah, T-Gun and Zenk sitting there, and then immediately they just rotate mid. They get the turret in response. Now, Immunity are the ones trying to make things happen desperately. They are looking for as many objectives as they can as soon as possible. But every time they try and make something happen, there's seemingly a response ready to go, or at least an answer.
Yeah, Immunity really need to start trying to shake things up potentially, or find an option that's not going to be discovered by AV immediately. See whether they can as this one moves forward. Is there a point where Immunity will sort of gather the power spikes necessary? I'm thinking about something like a Callista power spike, something like that.
So their power spikes are always going to be big. Once the Bloodthirster comes out, Callista has a lot of sustain. She can trade quite well in a 1v1, but her damage still isn't that high. So you're looking at about a 2 or 3 item spike for the Callista to really get going. And then at the same time, Warble, he'll be doing damage, but nowhere near as much as the Callista. But you look to Kensty, who can buff the rest of his team with that Hemo Plague, just place it down in team fights. And then Immunity are a very team fight-based team. They've got the split push, but that split push is indefinitely answered by Avant. They cannot commit to that route. They need to change it up, get a little bit more creative with their plan of attack. And then it almost again plays to Avant's strength of their team fighting comp.
Well, see whether Avant can keep the pressure on. Kensty here on the bottom side of the map, just split pushing against Zenk. Close to trying to get all of the farm that she can. 10 CS behind Warble. Has been the case since about minute 5. Zenk has been able to keep up very nicely with the Sivers farming movements. AV going to start once again on this dragon. Is Warble going to help out? T-Gun after sweeping that brush, he's going to head over and possibly ward this. Mistfish is going to discover that this dragon's going down. Barrel's going to steal it! No worries, explosive cast, flies in, doesn't even worry about body slamming over and getting the smite off, just throws a barrel. There you go.
Throw a barrel, she'll be right. Easy dragon, taken away right there. Immunity, they do secure themselves the second one as well, so that is going to be very handy for this Immunity side, translating that into a potential win condition and denying the first dragon from this Avant side.
Yeah, no 6% extra stats for Avant whatsoever, and this may actually create a win condition for Immunity that they weren't expecting to have. They lost control of that dragon area. It was just a lucky sight with the vision, with the fact that they managed to get the ward down, and brilliant barrel there supplying that one from Mistfish. So we'll see whether they can continue that pressure as this game goes on.
Yeah, they got there just in time to be able to throw out that barrel, so they do secure the dragon. And again, we're seeing the 1-3-1 from Avant, or it's a 1-2-1 with a roaming Tilby essentially, which has been working out for them. They do get the turret. Shen can't answer Vladimir, and if this continues for a prolonged period of time, you'll see Vladimir start pressuring second turrets.
Yeah, Kensty will just be able to push himself everywhere here, but here we'll see whether the siege is going to be enough from Immunity. The wave clear definitely looking strong, but Sivir taking some damage here from Moya. Dark Binding finds T-Gun.
He's hitting everything.
Yeah, lightning rush and everything. So T-Gun unable to quite get out of that one. Guessing the Jukes is Destiny.
Well, it was a pretty straight line.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I was just, benefit of the doubt.
I mean, guessing a non-Juke, if we want to go that deep.
Yeah. Rock, paper, scissors in the end, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Sort of. Once you get down to it. Zhonya's Hourglass, though, completed for Kensty. He actually completed Zhonya's and the Will of the Ancients both at the same time. That's a pretty big deal here for this one.
Yep, that's a massive deal right now, as if it was not hard enough for the Shen to deal with it. The low base damages that a Shen provides, he's going to be looking to pull his best Twisted Fate impersonation, where he is not in lane at all and just trying to use his ultimate to affect somewhere else on the map, because if he doesn't, as Destiny again, predicting the juice.
Yeah, Arcano Pulse is... Oh, actually finds the stun there as well. A lot of extra poke. Right of the Arcane comes down. The flash used by Warble. Moya not going to find the kill there, but the Sivir is forced out of lane. Man, Destiny, he's hit a whole heap of these bindings.
I just want to know that he's human.
No, he missed a few at the beginning.
Okay.
I'll take your quest.
There we go.
Then,
right.
he's looking okay. Yeah, they're not going to find that.
Kenzie is big enough that this siege is almost a fly risk in and of itself at the moment.
Oh, Shadow Dash makes his way in though. Pull used by Kenzie. Still has the Zhonya's available. There's the Fate's Call. T-Gun makes his way in. Immediately gets exhausted. Wasn't going to do a whole lot of damage though anyway as Shelby. He's trying to restart this fight. The double knockout comes through. Hemoplague's down. Zhang taking a bunch of damage. Mistfish, I believe, will die as Warble takes down the Shan. Mistfish, yes, did die to the Hemoplague. Destiny, flash binding, gets out of the way of the Pierce as well, just to make it all the much more sweeter. And Immunity lose 3 to Avant's nothing.
And again, after all of that, Kenzie going down super low, still has his Zhonya's available, was just kiting around the outskirts of the fight before Avant could hit that big go button. Telby, the flash knock up on all of the relevant targets. They're going to be able to follow that up perfectly. They get the turret eventually after a small hiccup there and indecision. And we're going to see it again. Of course, Kenzie super low from the engage. Mistfish using the ultimate at the same time as Kennen after it expires to make sure Kenzie not in the fight. Corki definitely is. The follow-up though, Corki hits that twisted advance. Shelby in the middle of the fight, flash knock-up. But there's just no answer as they turn it directly around immediately. Immunity, the flash binding actually to follow this, secures Warbler kill with the boomerang. And again, Immunity try to make something happen. Avant answer that with something superior.
Yeah, 6,000 gold is going to be the lead in the end. 0 to 5 in kills, an advantage of our red side here as Warble's going to continue clearing out the mid lane. Ryu now trying to split on the top side, has actually got a 20 CS advantage over Porky's direct lane opponent. But the fact that there's a 50 CS lead for this Vladimir is the big deal.
Yeah, you know what's hard is that it's 0 to 5 right now, and I actually worry for Immunity to find a kill from here. Is that the team comp of Avant is really hard to kill. And your best chance of killing them was early game, before the Maokai became too tanky, before the Vladimir had too much sustain and utility. You've got a Rek'Sai who's going to be super tanky very soon also. And then you've got the double shield bot lane. So at this stage of the game, the lead's not too big. They can still definitely win teamfights here Immunity, but unless they execute it perfectly, it's going to be really difficult for them to kill a single member.
Yeah, it seems to me like they want to avoid teamfights completely. They want to find a pick. If they can pick someone off by themselves, they won't have all that extra augmentation of the rest of the team available to them, and they might be able to sort of withstand, say, Kenzie's untargetability for a while, and the fact that Porky's very tanky. But we'll see what Immunity try to do to weather this storm that Avant have created for them.
No, definitely. They're looking to skirmish more than teamfight, but they're being forced into situations because they're trying to make things happen in their favor. So bringing them all together essentially to have a numbers advantage, to force an objective, is essentially their undoing by also necessity.
Yeah, very good point. Well, see how they go. 6,000 gold, as we mentioned, still the lead here. So Immunity not losing out just yet. As waves are just getting shoved in repeatedly. Dragon is just respawning now. And AV with perfect positioning, looking to try and pick up their first. Hopefully no cheeky barrels fly in to take them away.
He's definitely there. There's more than just him this time.
Everyone could flash in and try and steal it. Right of the Arcane is going to be available as there's the barrel. Moya grabs it this time. Immunity, they flash out and Avant can't get a dragon.
If there's one thing that Immunity can do to find themselves a very easy victory in this game, it is do that twice. They've got 2 more of them to go. If they could steal their way to a 5th dragon, they're going to be laughing. But I mean, the side of Avant might take a little bit more caution, I would hope, with this next one, and not just start it needlessly. They're not forcing fights, they're forcing attempts at stealing it away. And every time they have done that, it has backfired. So Avant, maybe rethink the strategy a little bit, not look for the dragon as big of a priority as they otherwise are now.
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess, look, the fact that
it's just unfortunate,
really. It's very unfortunate. It's not quite working out in Avant's favor here. Shelby's probably going to be pretty upset. So my smite button, guys,
a little bit.
It's not working.
He'd be quite mad.
He would be quite mad. He may be having a tiff with his team at the moment due to how miffed he is. But Immunity now going to be starting off looking towards the Baron, trying to get more vision down. Zenk, you can see he's standing where he knows that he's safe, on top of a pink ward.
It's a common misconception of what safety is, though. So you're on top of a pink ward, it means you're safe in that exact spot, but they could be anywhere around you. In saying that he was safe, he's waiting for farm in the top lane. He was expecting Porky to be nearby him. I believe he saw the ward get placed, so he can quite comfortably farm in the top lane, knowing it was only the Maokai, and he's going to be all right.
More than fine. Just wants to try and get himself towards that Renan's Hurricane. Kenzie just tides the blood in here on the bottom side of the map, getting all of the farm for himself. Definitely with the clock now as well.
Yeah, and speaking of all the farm, the difference between mid and Moya, I guess we call it bottom mid almost now because Kenzie is not a mid laner anymore. He has a big lead, the Vladimir over the Xerath.
Yeah. Of course, Xerath now with the Morellonomicon and, of course, the Rabadon's Death Cap, so doing some relevant damage. T-Gun tries to get some cheeky stuns off. Moya looking for an Arcano Pulse, won't find anyone just yet. There's Ryu against Porky. He's like, yeah, I can play up in this lane. This doesn't look too bad at all. Kenzie's actually moved towards the mid lane. Start any skirmishes. Cute little Shadow Dash. Not going to find anything onto either of these top laners, as none of them really feel like dying at all.
It's funny watching their health bars in the sidebars actually try and go down as they fight each other, but nothing actually happens when those two fight each other because you're tanky.
Well, actually, Zenk going for the double lifesteal already. Opts not to go for the AoE build. Wants to be able to take down members one at a time from AV. And this is what we were talking about. They've got to focus on getting picks. He's not going to be fighting in a teamfight environment, ideally. They understand they're probably not going to win that. I understand the pickup.
And it's also a good pickup for team fighting because he's going to have the Maokai in his face, Chelby in his face. They're stacking health and magic resistance right now. So he's going to be able to do a fair bit of damage anyway from his base damage. And then he's going to have the double sustain to get through what is almost explicitly tanks doing damage to him. The big concern is going to be Kenzie and that ultimate combo. But then the double lifesteal, the double sustain is a pseudo-tanky response to that again. So a fairly smart itemization here from the Kalista.
I like it from Zenk. Warble takes a whole heck of a lot of damage from that Arcano.
He's really good at timing it to like a millisecond after it hits him.
Yeah. The spell shield?
Yeah.
Yeah, making it look like it probably should have done some work.
Yeah. It's happened multiple times already.
Oh, that Sentinel going to get very upset with Avant Garde. Once again going to find Porky, the battle of the ages, ladies and gentlemen. As Porky just going to try and auto-attack the Shen, and the Shen not going to really notice and try and auto-attack the tree.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
No.
I wish something could happen in that. It would be really exciting because they always fight, but not really fighting.
It's like, but you can't be locked in an endless battle, you know, and actually have it do damage. Because it's not going to be very endless.
A verbal argument of some kind would be a lot more exciting.
Oh, yeah. Wanted to take that down. But AV trying something sneaky here as they're trying to set up around this Baron. Teleport available from Porky Teague. I'm going to get caught by the Dark Binding as Kenzie runs over the speedy patch left by the Rift Scuttler. Blade going to be down onto the Vladimir, but he's looking for the teleport behind now as well. Yeah, they're looking for the teleport engage. Porky finds his way in. Moya's going to get caught out. That's exactly what they didn't want on the side of Immunity, as that's a whole lot of the damage done. Look at the engage potential as Destiny trying to lock down Immunity. They're forced into an engagement now as well as Zenk. He's getting closed in on by Kenzie. Tides of Blood, so much damage. Hemoplague erupts and does a whole lot as well as Avant just closing in on them. And look, that's a 3-0, and Avant looked like they could have gone for more.
On the back of a Maokai teleport, they find a pick onto Moya, has no defensive itemization, doesn't even have boots 2 at the moment. He is a sitting duck to die, and that is exactly what Avant do. They can go to the Baron now, everyone aggressively flashing forward, finding the team fight that they were looking for, and they just grouped up and came through and wrecked.
Yeah, massive teamfight victory here for Avant. They are going to be able to take down this Baron. T-Gun pushing in the mid lane valiantly, but look at the extra vision that Avant have. They've just control over this map is complete at the moment.
Yeah, so we're going to see the replay again, of course. Moya dying instantly, the fact that Porky, Righteous Glory, Destiny using the flash, everyone just being super aggressive in their positioning. In fact, Shelby not even having a part of this fight. He was stuck on the other side of the wall. Zenk gets destroyed by that Hemoplague. The rest of Immunity left in shambles with no response to this Avant, just running at them.
Yeah, you can see Chelby with tunnels everywhere as well. Is this the dragon once again spawning?
Oh my god.
And once again, Missfish in position.
Is it gonna happen again? Don't do this to me.
Avant,
they're doing it.
Don't start it again.
No, they're doing it.
He's still got flash. Missfish has flash
Now
again.
the smart decision here is to not care about the dragon, but to bait them to steal it again, because it feels like it's becoming its own mini game.
Yep.
And then fight them.
Well, Porky looking for the engage. Righteous Flores pop. Shelby looking to try and tunnel over. Does get in there. Missfish going to get caught up. No steals today. Mr. Gragas, man, as Warble's going to lock down that kill. Avant moving back now. Ryu decides, nah, no stand united for you. I'm trying to take a turret. And Avant might be able to grab their first dragon.
You can almost feel the tension between Avant trying to get this next dragon. They did not want it to happen.
Oh,
my god.
Oh, man, I thought it had happened.
There was still the option there. Moya, see you later.
Yeah, no, you are so dead.
Duke, whatever you like.
Kenzie's just going to lock it down with the Hemo Plague. T-Gun trying to run away as well, looking to try and find that Lightning Rush back off cooldown. Doesn't. As Porky and Ryu again.
The tower did go down though.
Yep. And now once again stuck in the endless battle. As Avant able to actually get some work done here, taking down the inner turret on the bottom side of the map. Inner still alive on the top side, but they're looking to push through onto this inhibitor turret. Warble with so much AD at the moment as T-Gun gonna get Fate's Call back, wants to possibly go back in, decides to, just heads back out.
Oh, wow.
Missfish gets caught by one bind and gets obliterated. Destiny now going down very low. Soul Shackle's looking to try and lock up Ryu as they haven't even taken the turret down just yet. Kenzie looking to take down Zenk. There's the Tides of Blood and the Transfusion to lock that one down. Not even getting through the Black Shield is Moya's poke now as Warble launches himself forward with the auto attack reset as well as the Boomerang. Takes down T-Gun. They're looking for the game.
God.
Destiny lands another one. Knocked up is Moya and Ryu. Trying to get something, but Warble's got a Bloodthirster. He can get himself back up again, but that is kill number one. Destiny did it. Falls down.
They did it. They got themselves a kill. Moya the substitute coming up massive, bolstering their statistics. The inhibitor has gone down though. Avant looking insanely strong. The tanks of immunity being destroyed by Siva, which is a scary sight to behold, that is for certain. They finally do get a kill. Chelby almost giving them the second kill of the game to the jungle camps.
Yeah, the Crocs almost looking like they were going to get as many kills as immunity this game.
That's a very scary thing to be a part of, Matt.
It's a sad prospect.
Yeah.
So you're going to Missfish. We're going to try and help Zenk into a position to carry, but it's difficult. Still actually relatively kept up as far as farm is concerned. Looking for that Renan's Hurricane after the couple of lifesteal items that he already has.
This Avant side is so big right now that it's basically on them to just try and close out the game as methodically as possible. The bottom inhibitor's gone, there's no Baron available, but they're far enough ahead that it doesn't matter. They can just look for towers, try and siege their way through. That doesn't really feel like an answer from immunity at all. This should be a very simple closeout if they can do it.
And as far as Destiny is concerned, normally is a support that doesn't get a whole lot of kill participation. Right now he's on 100%. His average has been about 60, lower than that.
Yeah, he's doing very well. All of the bindings connecting this game essentially, or at least when they count, he has been hitting those. The rest of the side, of course, Shen's split pushing in the bot lane with that Trinity Force, trying to clear some minions as fast as possible. But Avant are essentially, their time bomb's about to blow.
Yep, it's looking very frightening.
And it's a scaling time bomb for reference.
Yeah, you can't really see too many of these champions falling off. You might say Siva, but not really.
Not when a Siva is this
comp.
big.
Especially not in this comp either with the Hemo Plague available. Shadow Dash not going to find anyone here. Black Shield onto Destiny as well. He's going to avoid any extra CC as Ryu takes a whole bunch of his health. Tides of Blood actually still affecting the Spirit Visage Merc Treads of Ryu, who's now got a Trinity Force actually, so, you know, a bit more damage. 70 CS ahead of Porky, so that's something to write home about. Now is Zenk trying to clear out this minion wave. Warble takes a rend, but Black Shield is going to be enough to save his life, and Immunity trying to hang on.
They're trying their best, but you can see the slow bleed out from this Avant side, just waiting on the bind to connect in an ideal position. Kenzie got enough sustain to be able to poke his way through with the Morgana Black Shield.
Oh, Zenk getting hit by another binding here as well. Boomerang takes off half of his health.
Oh, thank you, Wards, for the sustain.
Yeah, lifesteal, not bad.
Yeah. Stealing life from
Another one. Destiny, what the heck?
Oh, there it is.
Kensty over the top deletes him from the map immediately. Does get stunned up, but it's a double kill straight away. Both of the carries just handled by Kensty in that fight. Now everyone else getting cleaned up. Immunity getting destroyed in this game. And Avant, they have got something to prove, securing their spot in the semi-finals, making sure that Chiefs are going to be looking at this side with newfound respect.
Yeah, and this one thing Avant has done is they've proved it right now. Every member of Avant stepping up in that game in what felt so easy for them to do against another pro side like Immunity.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Again, another Vladimir performance from Kensty where he looks completely unstoppable. I'd be excited to see whether we're going to have any bans towards that champion moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. He's had a very formidable Vladimir. It's done a lot of work for the side, and Avant just looks so strong.
Yeah, Avant looking fantastic. But let's throw it out to Pastry Time and Spawn for the end of the night.
Thank you, Atlas, and what a way to end the night with Avant just storming through Immunity for the victory to clinch their playoff spot.
Yeah, finishing it out with style points, a flash over the wall from Kensty, and, you know, they're arrive into playoffs with that 4th spot clinch for them and up against the Chiefs first round.
Yeah, they look insane. We're going to check in with the day results to see who else are the big winners for today. You can see that Direwolves actually getting their win. That clinches their spot. Chiefs continuing their undefeated streak. And what happened in our last 2 games, Spawn?
Yeah, so Legacy able to come up huge over Sudden Fear. The 2 subs were just way too much. And then Avant take it out against Immunity, also clinching.
Yeah, and that does mean that the 4 big teams there, the top 4 is now clinched. Don't quite have the audio. Let's have a look at the standings. Chiefs still on top, undefeated, but those top 4 teams that are our playoff teams, we don't quite know the order yet. Chiefs number 1, that's the only thing we know.
Yeah, exactly right. Everyone else can, I guess, shuffle themselves around a little bit. Legacy are going to be second because they own the head-to-head against Direwolves, so it's about whether Direwolves lose on Thursday and Avant able to get the win.
And like you said, don't want to potentially play the Chiefs there. Also, that means the 5 to 7 spots are also up for contention. Sudden Fear, they will finish 8th, but who's going to finish 5th for that safety spot there and get back into the OPL, and who's going to be fighting in relegations?
Yeah, exactly right. The intense battle to avoid those challenger teams now begin between Absolute, Immunity, as well as Sin Gaming, so we'll have to see who comes out in that.
And like you said, we saw a couple subs this evening. The challenger teams are no jokes at all, so it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you know, it's going to be down to the wire. Every single game matters now.
It really does here. I mean, to be honest, it's hard to see just how crazy the playoffs are going to be because we've got top 4 teams, probably the best 4 teams to make it. Playoffs going to be crazy. Challenge is going to be crazy. There's a lot to love here.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it was a crazy night. So if you want any more stats, standings, want to take another look at the games, check out the VODs. Go over to that website, oce.lolesports.com.
Yeah, make sure you hit that up. It's got all the things you want. But for that, we are done for the evening. It's been a great night of League of Legends so far, but what are our semi-final matchups going to be? Which teams are going to be playing in relegations? Find out with us on Thursday.